Go Rockies. I won't be able to watch any of it. I'll be working, but I'll know what the score is. So I'm pulling for them. It's exciting times. Okay, any questions?
With your offensive line, Isaac Miller came in and played the last few couple series.
Yep.
What did you feel about his performance?
Thought he played well. Thought he pass protected really well. I thought he pass protected really well at tackle, and that's what we definitely believe he can do. He was hurt last year, and he's come along. He's getting better and better and better. And we feel like he's a phenomenal. We feel like he can be a phenomenal pass protector. So hopefully we'll be able to keep doing that.
Do you expect him to stay in that spot coming this week?
Yeah, he's going to play tackle. He plays tackle all year. He plays right or left.
I mean, do you expect him to be in that starting lineup, or is that
I don't know.
A fluid thing?
We're trying to, but he looked good out there when he was doing it.
Laviska Shenault, is he one of those guys that seems to almost get faster when he puts on pads?
Yeah, Laviska is a powerful guy, and he's starting to figure everything out. We're playing him on special teams and then getting him in more now at receiver and making plays for us. Laviska's a really good player, and he's doing really well.
Talked a lot about the defensive line. How ready do you feel they are to stop Arizona's dynamic rushing attack?
I hope we can. The part of their rushing attack is a quarterback getting outside, so the D-line won't have much to do with that part of it. But the inside running game, if they can get the running back started, they will have a huge part of that. And so they've got to be able to clog up the B gaps and stay on the tackles when they run the stretch plays, and hopefully they'll be able to do that.
How tough is it for a defense to make an adjustment from the Josh Rosen pocket passer stand back there 45 times to Brandon Dawkins?
Right. That's the difference in college football and pro football. Pro football is basically the same, similar type offenses all the time. They're not going to run their quarterback a bunch because if he does, they get hurt and lose billions of dollars. They don't have a guy behind them usually can do it. So you're very cookie cutter, so to speak, in the NFL. In college, every week is something totally different. And this is another totally different package that's completely different than Josh Rosen. So it is a big dynamic jump for us. That's why it's so hard for a defensive coordinator in college. I mean, every week is something totally different. And so this is drastically different than what we played last week. So hopefully our guys have figured it out and understand how to do it. Our coaches know what they want to do, and we're trying to get it across to them, but the players got to go do it.
Coach, and talking to me yesterday, asking you about Coach and Jay
Yeah.
and what that experience is like. I talked to him too, and he said one thing that was different though is he sees you more now, more than ever, than he did growing up, right? So talk about that aspect.
Yeah,
to be around him more, that there's something to that, right?
Yeah, when you're a college football coach, you're busy with. We got 118 guys, so I'm a father figure to 118. And then you're recruiting and you're on the road and you're trying to manage. So I didn't get to see him play at least half his basketball games. I didn't get to see him play at least half his football games. Every once in a while I would call their high school coach and say, hey, is it all right if I come to practice for a few minutes because I haven't seen him in a week and I just want to watch practice for a minute. So I was able to do that. So and then when he so now I get to see him every day, which is really good. I enjoy it, and I think he does too.
Gotcha. This is family weekend here.
Yep.
As a coach, I know you're always probably thinking about a family atmosphere. In which ways over your tenure have you kind of figured out ways to include coaches' families and players' families, kind of more involved in you guys do?
Right. We do every Sunday night during the season. We have a family dinner that all the families come to, and so we got like about 35 to 45 minutes that we kind of hang out and you get to see the families and the kids. We have them, in our new football facility when we're building that. I talked to Rick George and said, Rick, we need a separate place for all the families to sit at game day. Plus the wives don't like calling me a bum and their husband a bum in the stands no matter what's happening. And good or bad, it happens. And so we have an area up at our game day that all the families can be up there. So my wife and I buy food for all the families, and then they can bring their babysitters for little kids. We have a whole room there, and then the wives can watch the games. Because a lot of times when we were young, I'm talking a lot here, when I was young, we didn't have things like that. So if my wife, we had 3 little ones, sometimes she couldn't even come to the game. They couldn't even hardly be a part of it. So we try to make that a family atmosphere. Trick-or-treat night this year, I always let the coaches we get in here get everything done. Get out with your kids. You only get so many times to do that. Christmas, we try to do a lot of stuff around that, around bowl games and different things. We try to get everybody to be able to go. And so it's do a lot of things that way. In the summers, we do a lot of different things and try to give them time. I give them longer weekends sometimes in the summers because we have so many weekends that are built up with that people don't understand with recruiting. We're recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. So many of our weekends are filled up. So I block off weekends. We can't have recruiting here. And every once in a while there might be some great kid that wants to come in. Well, I'll take it, and now that all my kids are grown. So things like that. So you try to put yourself in their shoes when you were that age.
You mentioned being a dad to all these kids out here. Are you and Jay able to carve out time where it's just you guys or just you and your family?
Yeah,
Is that difficult?
My dad did an interesting thing when I was playing for him. He said, "You're a player, I'm a coach all the time." And then one day a week, he'd call me, come up, all right, shut the door, lock the door, take off my coaching hat. Okay, you're dad, I'm dad, you're Jay. What's going on? How's things going in your life? Just like you would father-son. If not, you never really get that time, and you don't want to miss out on that either. So that's kind of what we do.
You talked about the difference between Josh Rosen and Brendan Dawkins. From a game planning perspective, how do you make that adjustment?
You're playing different with your ends than you did with Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen, we were trying to rush upfield, trying to move him off his spot. You were playing more pass percentages. You're more coverage emphasis. In this situation, you have to be more run emphasis. As you rush, if you get too wide out of your lanes, he'll pull it down and go, and before you know it, he's 20 yards downfield. So you're a little bit more rush conscious. You can't do as many pass rush moves, just running by the quarterback. In the NFL, they just put them back and get in a track stance and go. You do it against this guy, you get up above him and he's going to take off running. So you have to see him better, if that makes sense. You have to understand how to keep the pocket closed. And it's very easy to say, but very hard to do. Those are different things you have to do with that.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeff.